How's it, guys? Junaid here. Welcome back to another video of my YouTube channel. Today's video we're gonna be speaking on is injuries in fishing. So, as we know, fishing is can be quite an extreme sport where we go the extra mile to go and find that bite or land that fish or whatever it is. You have to have that extra edge, and comes with consequences. Can be dangerous, but yeah, so we're gonna talk a bit of injuries on fishing today and what we can do to respond positively to it and how we can find a solution. So first of all, rock and surf angling, accidents do happen. So these things do occur. It's sometimes not intentional, but fighting a fish or using the equipment we're using sharp hooks and sharp knives and a lot of equipment that is quite dangerous, especially now with braid. Also you get cuts, so these things do happen. So it's all about how we respond to it, and this video is all about awareness. It's all about educating you as to how you will respond to these incidents that occur. So I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 points as to different incidences and what we can do to address it. The first one being, if you're being bitten by a fish or bitten by a shark. In 2014, I've been bitten by a gray shark, and we had around close to 20 stitches with a gray shark. So I've had experience being bitten by a gray or some sharks, and it's not a pleasant experience, but I can tell you what to do in that case. So one must also assess the extent of the bite. But first, a shark or a shad has a shad which has sharp teeth. If that bites you, or any animal in general, for that instance, animals usually have saliva, like a fish. If it bites you or shark bites you, most of the time it's lacerations. It's not really like a shark bite where like a great white or Zambezi will bite you off. It's most of the time lacerations. The protein poison that they have on the saliva can cause infections. So the first thing you need to do is to carry some Savlon or carry some Dettol, or to wipe that off. So the first thing is to wipe the wound. You may carry a first aid kit in your tackle box, which will be of high assistance. Not a very large one, but just one in a small container. To carry some cotton wool, carry some Savlon, yeah, and some plasters. So if you're being bitten, it depends on the extent of the wound. If it's a wound is small enough, it's fine, you can treat it yourself. Just take some cotton wool, wipe it up to get all the dirt out or sand out, or that will prevent infection. So if you leave that, it can lead to you being that wound becoming septic, and it can be a bigger issue. So the first step is to clean that up. If your wound is open and is bleeding profusely, you must stop your fishing trip immediately, and make sure you get to a hospital or doctor immediately so you can get your stitches done. If you're fishing with a partner, make sure that they assist carrying your stuff. Whether if you're cutting your hand or leg or whatever it is, avoid carrying a tackle box or putting any pressure on that, because the more pressure you put onto that wound, the more blood you're going to lose. And if you are negligent while you're bleeding and you're fishing, you might get weak and you might collapse and you can fall, and can be even a bigger issue. So take all issues as all injuries in fishing seriously if it's life threatening. The next item we will talk on is if you get hooked. So usually we fish with quite sharp hooks, and while tying a knot onto our nylon or wire, while we're tightening the hook, you might get hooked. So this also, it happens so fast you don't even realize it, and next thing you see the hook is in your finger or your thumb or wherever it is. uh, Now if your hook is contains barbs, the first thing you'll do is, if the hook goes through, you need to squash that barb and as tight as possible with a flat nose pliers, and try to remove that back. Try to put less pressure, push it in and pull it out. It's not easy, but it's important that you take it out. But if it is in a place where you've been hooked and it's life threatening, where you're bleeding a lot, leave the hook there and get rushed to hospital immediately, and doctors will take it out. Because if you hook yourself into like a artery or some place where there's a high flow of blood, you may bleed to death. God forbid that happens, but uh, having a hook in you, it depends where, is quite a dangerous thing. So if the wound is not serious, same concept as the bite, wipe it and yeah, put a plaster over it. Just personally for me, I take my thumb and put a lot of pressure on it so it stops the bleeding. Some of my friends use insulation tape, which keeps the wound quite intact, prevents water from coming through. If you keep the wound wet when it's not healed, it can also lead to further infection. So make sure the wound is dry and you seek medical attention ASAP. Another instance which we're going to discuss is if you fall in a rock. Also, this can be varied to the extent. As far as possible, if you fall, try to break your fall in a way where you land on your buttocks or glutes. That can avoid injury. Instead of you landing on your shoulder, where you can dislocate a shoulder, or if you land on your head, you can have a concussion. You can bleed profusely, get head injury. So, as far as possible, try to break your fall properly. In the case where you fall and you you fracture a hand or leg, or you dislocate you dislocate some of your bones, or you have a torn ligament, the best thing to do is call for assistance for someone to take your rod and go to your bed box and just sit down. Avoid movement. You might have a fracture, or you might have a break in your bone. um, just remain calm, and if you need to, while immediately you won't feel this immediately, because I've fallen onto rocks while fighting fish, and usually after I land fish, usually adrenaline pumps and you don't really think clearly, so you fall usually afterwards in most cases. uh, your body is still warm at that time, you won't feel the pain. Once your body goes cold, then you usually feel the pain. So if you fall, you'll find swelling. The swelling assists your body in preventing it from being further damaged. So the swelling in your body is a defense mechanism. It helps you to prevent you from being further hurt. So if you fall badly and you find your body is it's paining, cancel the fishing trip. Get home immediately. Go and see a doctor and take some X-rays and assess the damage. Uh, don't until your body is 100% clear to fish, then get back to fishing, or else you can recur the injury and your recovery will be longer. The next item we're going to speak on is being cut by a knife. I've also been cut by knives many times. I'm bad with knives, so I've had several stitches, cutting myself, cutting with bait, sharpening knives. Yeah. So if you get cut by a knife, just make sure you clean the wound. If you have salt water, you may clean it, because sometimes if there's bait onto your knife and it cuts you, that bait can go into your body, and it can cause a major infection if not addressed. So once again, just take your Savlon, clean the wound, if you get cut in your hand, make sure you're not keep giving your hand a lot of movement, because if you move it or keep it down, the blood circulation, you'll find you lose a lot of blood, which is not good. The last item we're going to speak on is if you get poked by a barbel, thorn, or a skate, then just by its tail you find like it has like a stabbing kind of, it's like a thorn. If that goes into your body, it's gonna cause you some problems. uh, Make sure, in some guys have end up getting fever immediately because the protein poison goes into the body, has a reaction. Just remain calm. If it shouldn't be too bad. It depends also where you get poked. If you get poked into areas like your chest, it's serious. Or if your leg, where your main artery is, it's serious. But other places, if it stabs you, wipe it off, or see a doctor as soon as possible. But make sure they need to remove the thorn, because in some cases the barbel pokes you, the thorn goes into your body. Your doctor needs to be aware of this, and your doctor needs to remove that thorn out of your flesh. If it remains there, the problem it won't go away. So yeah, guys, this is today's topic. It's very important to bring awareness on this topic, because fishing is quite a dangerous sport. um, yeah, I wish you guys learn something from this video. And yeah, it's all about sharing information, helping everybody, uh, knowing what to do when we have a case like this. um, Being good at any sport requires you to go to the next level. In any sport comes with its risks, dangers. It's all about being responsible. Remember, guys, health is first. Never risk your life over a fish. Never risk your life over anything, because you can always catch another fish, but putting your life getting washed away and stuff, it's not worth it. It's important to always look after our bodies and make sure that we enjoy the sport responsibly, because fishing is our hobby, it's a passion, but it should never be something where you're going to choose fishing over your life. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'm going to be looking at other relevant topics to speak on. I've been having a lot of guys on my channel requesting me to speak more on the sport and its technical items, to empower anglers and to let everyone know that this is a sport that we love, but we must never ever put our life at risk. Sure, thanks guys, and yeah, tight lines, and I wish you all the best for the upcoming summer season. Hope to see many more catches. Thanks guys.